So you and your team at Opteo Game, you did some really interesting research into how marketers are using these negative keywords within PMax campaigns. So for those people who won't have come across your study before, could you talk us through how you did that and the findings that you came across?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the headline in terms of how people are using negative keywords is that a surprising portion don't. That's just kind of the headline, is that they are indeed underutilized. I think everybody, it's kind of an interesting one because I think most people do know that you can use negative keywords against performance max campaigns. But the data shows that I think it was like 68% let me
Hmm.
just look that up. Yeah, 68% don't use a single negative keyword against their performance max campaign. And this was on a very large kind of data set of almost 25,000 performance max campaigns. So we just kind of looked across our user base. And so, yeah, that represents like 26 million a month worth of spend. And like over 80%, I think, or just on 80%, use 10 or less negative keywords. And that's across the account level, as well as shared negatives. At the time, campaign level negatives weren't announced yet. Um, so so yeah, I was kind of surprised by that, if I'm honest, because it's one of the more well-known levers that you can use, and yet it doesn't seem to be used all that
Like,
much.
and getting into like, well, trying to unpack what the potential reasons for that might be. Like, is it a case of people aren't, because for a while there, when PMax was first launched, it was really difficult to add negative keywords and you had to go through your account rep and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And if you were making a guess as to what the key factors are that are holding people back from utilizing negative keywords, what would you assume that, well, for that 68%, why is it, what's causing that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a few things, right? Like the main thing for sure is that they don't make it easy for sure. So, the campaign modification request form or whatnot is a bit of a thing, a bit of an imposition to get your negative keywords in place. So there's that. But even you can still use the account level negatives, and the study, that 68% also don't have a single account level negative, right? To be clear, it's not just against the performance max campaigns. Um, so yeah, one, I think it's impractical. That's one piece. And thankfully with the campaign level negatives, that's gonna be more practical. And I should probably redo the study and have a look at how that's changed since that's dropped.
Mm.
Um, so and then I also think that there's like a more general difference between kind of the more veteran, been in the industry for, a decade versus somebody that's relatively new, that's kind of been born into this era 2 years ago. So I think for some veterans that have kind of seen the evolution all the way back from, maybe like even manual bidding and very intricate account structures, and have kind of
ETAs.
yeah, ETAs, and kind of progressed through all the way to today, and kind of see where it's come. Again, I don't really have a good analogy, but it's almost, I mean, it's coming back to the parenting thing, right? I saw smartphones come into my life, whereas my children will obviously just assume that this and more, like who knows what AI is going to look like when my son gets a phone, right? But like they just assume that this is the way that's always been like this, right? And so like I think if you come into Google Ads today and you look at the console, you look at the layout, and you look at the check boxes, and you look at what's presented, it sounds great. Performance max. Who wouldn't want to maximize their performance? And yeah, you get me more customers when it's equal or below my targets. And you just and so you might not have that appreciation for something like the guardrails, like negative keywords. Like I think that maybe
Mm.
comes a little bit easier to some older school marketers, if that makes sense. So there might be a bit of a behavioral thing there as well.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Paid Media Lab. If you found it useful, you can get the full-length episode on the Lunio YouTube channel, where you can also subscribe to catch all our latest releases. And if you want free tools, reports, and guides to help you uplift the efficiency of your PPC campaigns, head to lunio.ai and click on the Resources tab in the navbar. See you in the next one.